Past Thursday was Valentine's Day, and the media and all over the place, we just saw ad after ad for boxes of chocolates, red heart-shaped boxes, and all kinds of romantic things that men can do for their wives and girlfriends and so forth. And what's the origin of it all? Saint Valentine was martyred in Rome in the year 270. Valentine was a very holy Catholic priest. The Emperor Claudius II at the time had sent out an edict that Roman soldiers were not allowed to be married because he felt that if they were single, they would be better fighters. Well, Valentine realized that they deserved and had the right to the sacrament of marriage. And so he was witnessing the marriage of soldiers in the Catholic Church. For that reason, Judge Asterius imprisoned him and sentenced him to death. Asterius had a daughter who was blind, and the night before Valentine was beheaded, he cured her of her blindness, and he wrote her a letter, and he signed the letter, "Your Valentine." And that was probably the beginning of the Valentine missives that we have. And the other thing was that there was a pagan custom in Rome at the time where, in honoring the goddess Februata Juno, people would write down the names of young girls and give them to young boys who could admire them and attend to them. It was a very pagan practice. Valentine switched that around too. He started writing notes to the boys and girls with a little name of a saint. And he would write something about that saint that they could imitate, and he would encourage them to pray to that saint. And he would pass those out on the same pagan feast to the Catholic children. So it has a really religious foundation. And the relics of St. Valentine disputed where they all are, but it was the custom of the church to give a part of a saint's body to different places for honor and veneration. And Pope Gregory VI, in 1836, I think it was, sent a box to the priest at a Carmelite monastery in Dublin, Ireland. And it was all tightly tied, very ornate, stamped with the seal of the Pope, and a letter stating it was relics of St. Valentine. And so it's stored there in the monastery in Dublin, Ireland. But also, the bishop in Glasgow, Scotland, also got a box that said it was the relics of St. Valentine. And it could have been, some of them at least. And so the two, between Ireland and Scotland, they argue who has the real ones, but it looks like they probably both do. So I just share that with you because Valentine is one who honored the reality and the gift of married life and married love to his people. And that's a value, certainly a value that we hold dear to this day, that Christ instituted the sacrament of marriage. People have a right to receive that sacrament and to live that sacrament. The scriptures today, Jeremiah is putting out a very simple map for life: trust and hope in the Lord. And he was giving it to the people at a time when they were suffering great persecution. Trust and hope in the Lord. Remember in your catechism days, the question, we all had to memorize them from the Baltimore Catechism. Why did God make me? God made me to know, love, and serve him in this world and to be happy forever with him in heaven. We don't forget that, do we? I see some of you saying it as I said it. And that's really so simple, to know, love, and serve God in this world and to be happy with him forever in heaven. That's the map for life. And trust in the Lord. That's not always easy. People all the time say, Father, I'm having trouble just trusting in God. We do, because we're human and we want to be in control. And there's so many things that happen that we're not in control of. And that's when we have to absolutely trust in God. The Beatitudes that we read in the gospel, blessed are you who are poor. The Hebrew word for poor is ani, A-N-I. and it has 4 different meanings. The one I think that fits the gospel best is where it is somebody who is not wealthy, somebody who has little influence, and somebody who trusts in the Lord. It's somebody who totally trusts in the Lord because they realize they are dependent upon the Lord for all things. And that's how we're supposed to be poor. Trust totally in the Lord. Even if we own $1 million, we still have to trust in the Lord. And St. Augustine said it so well that we should leave the past to the mercy of God. We should live the present, with God's love for us now. And then we should hope in the future for his divine providence to be with us. I can't worry about the future because it isn't here yet. But don't we all worry about it? What am I going to do tomorrow? What am I going to do? And you know, today's the tomorrow that you worried about yesterday, and you're still here. So we have to keep that in mind, you know, that worrying gets us nowhere. We do it, but we have to always stop and say, Lord, I need to put my trust in you. And he will. The gospel tells us tonight that, you know, if you're going through these sufferings, just hang on because your reward is coming, the reward of eternal life in heaven. That's when all will come together. And then when he says here, woe to you, that sounds pretty like, woe to you, you better look out, you're in trouble. But I like to read it not W-O-E, but W-O-A. It's the word you would be saying to a horse that was riding too fast. You'd say, whoa. I think what it means is, whoa, stop and take a look at your life. Stop and look at how you're living and what you're doing, and place your trust in God. Are you really living to know, love, and God well in this world, to be happy with him in heaven? We have to always keep checking up on ourselves. So scriptures have a lot to tell us tonight. And we have to pray to God for that ability to trust in him always and know that he's always with us.